This is our home in Shanghai. It's about 80 square meters, roughly 860 square feet. My family have lived here for several years. We began as a family of two. Then 2 years ago, my daughter was born. Today, I will show you around, including my favorite part of this apartment. And I will also tell you why we are actually thinking about selling it now. But before going inside, let me show you a little bit about where we live. One thing I love the most about my compound is how green it is. Our compound is more than 20 years old, so it's considered a bit old for Shanghai. But that's actually one of the things I love about it. Look at all these trees, they have already over 20 years to grow. The neighborhood around us is also quite old and very local. Almost everything we need is within about a 5-minute walk. The metro, a local market, a hospital, and a community service center. There's even a small playground inside the compound. Of course, it's not perfect. The facilities are older, and parking is definitely not easy. But for everyday life, the location works really well for us. This is my home. Come in. So, the first thing we do is to take off our shoes. And we have a shoe cabinet here to store all of our shoes. And we use the back of the door to put our bags and hats and coats in winter. This is our kitchen. It is actually open to the living room, and it is quite a spacious kitchen comparing to most of the Chinese kitchens. This is our sink. You may have noticed that we actually have two taps here. This one is for the regular water, and this one is for purified water. In China, we don't normally drink tap water straight from the faucet. Most people either boil it, filter it, or buy bottled water. And this is actually one reason why drinking hot water became such a common habit in China. Before water purifier became common, boiling water was the simple way to make it safe to drink. And this is the gas stove. We have a dishwasher and an oven. These are not a standard in most of the Chinese families, but among the middle class in Shanghai families, these are becoming more and more common. And here it is a rice cooker, a coffee machine, and also a microwave. One thing I like particularly about our kitchen is the lighting. Actually, we have these lights beneath our cabinet. As you can see, I can wave my hands to turn it on or off. It's just a small thing, but it's really useful when I'm cooking because I can actually see what I'm doing. And then we have the bathroom. It is a 3-part separated bathroom so that the shower, the sink, and the toilet are all separated. And now we also have a toilet seat for our daughter because she's recently learning how to use the toilet. Hi there. And there's another thing I like about the lighting here is this. I can turn on the lights of this mirror so it becomes very bright here. And I have stored all my makeups here inside. So I can do my makeup here in the morning. I don't need a separate vanity. Yeah, let's take a look at the sink. And also we have a cabinet underneath as well. This is our daughter's room. It's actually very small, only about 6 square meters. She sleeps on a normal single bed. And that's actually an adult wardrobe. I'm quite minimalist, so I don't really like buying things that we will only use for a few years. So we don't have a lot of furniture that's specifically made for children. My daughter started sleeping in her own room when she was 5 months old. We usually lie here with her until she falls asleep, and then we leave. We put up the bed rail. And there is a monitor on top of her bed, so that we get alerts when something happens to her. These doors are sliding doors, because this room used to be our home office. And now we are in the living room, and this is probably the most important space in our home. You may notice that our home has quite a strong mid-century modern style. We have a lot of wooden furniture. Wood has always been a big part of traditional Chinese furniture too, so I think this style really works for me. It feels familiar, but also more modern and practical for a small apartment. And this table is actually one of the most important things in this room. We eat here and sometimes work here. And guess what? I have a very large collection of tea. So as you can see, I'm a tea lover and I have a very large collection of Chinese tea, all different kinds. Black tea, green tea, pu'er tea. And also, I have my tea set. All these kind of little cups stored in here as well. And then there's this open space. We actually used to have a big sofa here. But when our daughter started crawling, we decided to get rid of it. We wanted to give her more space to crawl, run, and play. So now we just have a single sofa here, and she has her own little sofa. We spend most of our family time here. And beside her little sofa, this is where we store her toys and books. Even though we have a child, we actually don't have that many toys or children's things at home. I try not to buy too much just because we have a child. We use the public library and playgrounds quite a lot. I think playing with sand and playing with Barbie can both make a happy childhood. Music is quite a big part of our family. As you can see, here we have a piano, and then below this is actually my husband's saxophones. And also, we have a flute here and a quite good speaker. So these speakers are used almost every day to listen to music. A lot of the things on our walls are connected to the places we've been or the things we love. These posters are related to Shanghai. And this fine painting of Buddha is the one we bought when we traveled to Tibet. Now I'm taking you to our main bedroom. This is our bedroom. We have a whole wall of storage for our clothes. and we have a projector here. Sometimes, after our daughter goes to sleep, my husband and I watch something here. In many Chinese homes, the mattress and the sofas tend to be quite hard, as you can see this here. I think part of it is because of traditions. The traditional Chinese furnitures are usually made of woods. And the second part is that I think we believe the harder mattress and sofas are good for your back. And I actually prefer that myself as well. When the time I was on business trip into US and I slept at the US hotels, I find those mattresses were so soft. So after several days, my back started hurts. And last but not least, the balconies. We actually have two balconies. This one is the practical balcony. This is where we do our laundry. As you can see, there is the wash machine and also the dryer. And the sink is here as well. Yeah, this is actually a folded bathtub for my daughter, as we do not have a bathtub. And here is where our robot vacuum stays.
开始清扫。
And interestingly, actually, our daughter is very terrified of it. So we usually let it clean when we are out.
暂停。
We have these huge windows, so the apartment gets a lot of natural light. My daughter and her dad also spend a lot of time here. And at night, we can see the city lights. This is my little work desk. So it is where I work during the day. And it is actually a standing desk. So if you want to change height, you can do it. So as you can see, this balcony is what I love most about this apartment. I think this is probably the places I will miss the most if we ever leave. Then you might be curious, if we love this apartment so much, why are we considering selling it now? The simple answer is that our home has changed a lot since we had our daughter. When we bought this apartment, we were just two people. The second room was our home office. It was also where my husband used to practice his saxophone. After our daughter was born, that room became her bedroom. And because she needs quite a lot of sleep and a quiet space, he can't really practice at home anymore. So, when he wants to practice his saxophone, he usually has to go downstairs and practice in the park. We do have a little work desk at the balcony. However, sometimes both my husband and I need to work from home for some time. And we actually have to compete for that table. And to be honest, usually I win. So he ends up working at the dining table. It works, but it's not ideal. So this is the reason we are thinking about a 3-bedroom apartment. 1 room for us, 1 for our daughter, and 1 for work. And maybe a little space for music too. And honestly, it's not an easy decision. In China, owning your own home carries a lot of meaning. It's often seen as a symbol of stability and having a family. But Shanghai's housing price is very expensive. Even adding another 10 square meters can mean spending around 1 million RMB more in some parts of the city. So, buying a bigger home in Shanghai is not a decision we can make lightly. Because honestly, there's a lot we love about this place. And we've had some really happy years here. We are still not sure what we are going to do. Maybe we will stay, maybe we will move. But if we do decide to rent for a bigger place, I will take you for apartment hunting with us. This is where I share real daily life in Shanghai. I will see you in the next one.